You're sitting at your desk right now, scrolling through real estate listings, and every single house that doesn't look like it's about to collapse costs $500,000. The kitchen has laminate countertops from 2003. The carpet is beige. There's fake wood paneling in the basement. And somehow, the listing agent has the audacity to call it a starter home. Meanwhile, you're doing mental math on your salary, wondering if you've somehow missed a massive promotion, or if the entire housing market has collectively lost its mind. Spoiler alert, it's not you. It's the math. And the math is absolutely brutal. My name is Barry, and today we're going to do something that real estate agents hate. We're going to calculate who can actually afford a $500,000 house in 2026. Not who the bank will approve, but who can legitimately afford it without turning their life into a financial stress simulator. Let's start with how they trap you. You walk into a bank or talk to a mortgage broker, and they run your numbers. You're making, let's say, $120,000 a year. That's well above the median income of $84,000. You should be comfortable, right? And then they tell you the magic words. Congratulations, you're pre-approved for $500,000. They slide that pre-approval letter across the desk, and suddenly you feel like you've won something. You're qualified, you're legitimate, you're ready. Then you go online. You plug that $500,000 into a mortgage calculator. It spits out a number, $2,850 per month. You look at that and think, okay, I'm paying $1,800 in rent right now. $2,850 is more, but it's doable. I'll cut back on eating out. I'll cancel some subscriptions. I can make this work. And that's the moment they got you. Because that $2,850, that's not the real number. That's just the bait. That's principal and interest only. And everyone from your real estate agent to your mortgage broker to that cute mortgage calculator online is showing you that number because it's the number that makes you say yes. But here's what nobody tells you until after you've signed the paperwork and moved your furniture. That $2,850 is a lie. It's not a small lie. It's not even a misleading statistic. It's a catastrophic, life-altering, future-destroying lie. Let me show you what they're hiding. We're going to do the math they don't want you to see. You're buying a $500,000 house. Let's say you somehow scrape together a 20% down payment. That's $100,000 cash. Most people don't have that, but let's be generous. That leaves you with a $400,000 loan. At current interest rates, somewhere around 7% depending on your credit, your monthly mortgage payment for principal and interest lands at $2,850. There it is, the number they show you. But that's where the fun begins. Let's add property taxes. Depending on where you live, you're looking at anywhere from $4,000 to $8,000 per year. Let's be conservative and say $6,000 annually. That's $500 per month. So now we're at $3,350. Then there's homeowners insurance, which has skyrocketed in the past few years thanks to climate change making everything more expensive to insure. You're looking at another $300 per month, depending on whether your house is in a flood zone, fire zone, or tornado alley. Now we're at $3,650. Then there's maintenance, the thing everyone forgets about until the water heater explodes at 11 p.m. on a Sunday. The general rule is to budget 1% of your home's value per year for maintenance and repairs. On a $500,000 house, that's $5,000 annually, or about $417 per month. Now, we're at $4,067. Oh, and remember that 20% down payment I mentioned? Most first-time buyers don't have $100,000 sitting around. So let's be realistic. You put down 10% or 5%. Congratulations, you just unlocked a new expense called PMI, Private Mortgage Insurance. This is the fee you pay every single month for the crime of not being wealthy enough to put 20% down. That's another $300 per month. And remember, I'm being generous here. I'm calculating this payment assuming you put 20% down. If you put down less, like 5 or 10%, your loan amount is bigger and this number explodes. But let's stick to the conservative math. So let's add this up. Mortgage payment, $2,850. Property taxes, $500. Insurance, $300. Maintenance, $417. PMI, $300. Your total monthly housing cost is now sitting at $4,367. Not $2,850, not $3,000, $4,367. That's 53% higher than the number they showed you. So now comes the question, what income do you actually need to afford this? Financial advisors will tell you that you shouldn't spend more than 28% of your gross monthly income on housing. Let's do the reverse math. If you're spending $4,367 per month on housing, and that represents 28% of your income, you need to be making roughly $187,000 per year. Let me say that again. $187,000 per year. For a $500,000 house that everyone keeps calling a starter home. Now, the median household income in America is around $84,000, which means we're asking people making $84,000 to afford homes that cost 6 times their annual income, when they actually need to be making $187,000. Only about 10 to 20% of U.S. households make $150,000 or more, which means 80 to 90% of American households cannot comfortably afford a $500,000 house under any reasonable financial standard. But you're thinking, Barry, people are still buying these houses. I see it every day. Who are these people? Some of them have dual incomes in high-paying fields. Some of them have family money. But a lot of them? They're stretching themselves so thin that one medical bill or job loss would collapse their entire financial life. Let me show you what that actually looks like. Meet the Johnsons, 2 working professionals pulling in a combined $160,000 a year. That puts them well above the median, solidly in the upper middle class. They should be comfortable, right? After federal taxes, state taxes, FICA, and a modest 401k contribution, they're taking home around $9,500 per month. That's their actual money to live on. Now, subtract that $4,367 monthly housing cost. They're left with $5,133 for literally everything else in their lives. 2 car payments, because they both need to commute. There goes $800. Car insurance for 2 vehicles, another $250. Gas, $300. Student loans, $600. Health insurance premiums that their employers don't fully cover, $400. Groceries for a family trying to eat reasonably healthy, $800. Utilities for that bigger house, $450. They're now at $1,533 remaining, and we haven't touched clothing, entertainment, kids' activities, car repairs, medical copays, or savings. Emergency fund? Retirement beyond that modest 401k? Good luck. This household is spending 46% of their take-home pay on housing. And these aren't irresponsible people. They're not buying jet skis. They're just trying to live in a house that the market tells them is normal. So let me give you the harsh truth. For probably 70 to 80% of American households, a $500,000 home is not affordable. So what do you actually do? First, I'm giving you permission to do something radical. You can choose not to play this game. You can look at a $500,000 house, run the real numbers, and decide that it's not worth sacrificing your financial stability, your mental health, and your ability to build actual wealth. You can keep renting. You can save aggressively and invest the difference. If your rent is $2,500 and ownership costs are $4,367, that's $1,867 per month you can invest. Over 10 years in index funds, that compounds into real wealth. That $1,867 isn't just growing, it's liquid. If you lose your job, you can sell stocks instantly. Try selling a bathroom tile to buy groceries. Real wealth is freedom, not equity you can't access because you're trapped by the asset that's supposed to be making you wealthy. Run your real numbers. Factor in all the costs. Be honest about your income stability. And if the math doesn't work, walk away. There is no shame in saying, "This doesn't make sense for me right now." There is no trophy for buying a house that makes you miserable. The real win is making decisions based on reality, not social pressure, on math, not emotion, on your actual financial situation rather than what you wish it could be. Protect your portfolio. Protect your life.